Hi, and welcome to Born of Your Mind. I came across this story, unfortunately, from Rick Sanchez, which is on CNN. And to me, Rick is always known for shedding very negative and unpleasant light into the African American community, oftentimes with incidents that are unbecoming of most of us in the community and only are contributed to a select few. But because I think Rick Sanchez likes to perpetuate stereotypes, um, he tends to find these stories and never to the resolve of finding solutions, but always to validate and justify um, the outrageous claims and the outrageous tactics that are often taken when it comes to dealing with members of the African American community. Now, with that being said, I just want to prelude everything I'm saying with the fact that I don't condone what the student did. I think she definitely lost a lot of her ground because she didn't know how to effectively communicate herself through her anger, through her irritation. Um, but with that being said, I still think she had ground as a student to civilly disobey any order from her professor or even the police to leave a classroom in which she has prepaid at that, to attend. Um, to me, I think this speaks to a deeper issue in this country. If you look to the comments left on the original YouTube video of the incident, you'll see nothing but nasty, disparaging, hateful, divisive comments being left. And those comments to me speak to the more poignant point that there is truly still a problem with racism in this country. And what saddens me as a productive member of society, I feel like I don't have the same rights. I'm not afforded the same constitutional protection and rights in this country as my other counterparts. I feel like the rights of African Americans in this country as a whole go trounced upon on a daily basis. We see it in our justice system. We see it in predatory lending going uh, un, unavenged. We see it in the subpar educational systems in our communities. Um, the list can go on and on in what we see it in. We see it in our communities. That's the point, though. You see it, and I see it. And we're victims of it more than not. And to me, that is the true injustice. Because it's like, how are we still in 2010 treating brown and black people as second-class citizens? That was someone's little girl. Someone's daughter was brutally brought down to the ground by three male officers. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there should have been a female officer present. Three male officers took this girl down to the ground. The whole while she's saying, "I'm not fighting you. I'm not trying to resist." But she didn't comply, I guess, quick enough. So they felt they could use all the force, whether it was unnecessary or not, to bring this young student down to the ground. And all of this stemming from a disagreement with a student in her class and a teacher. The teacher obviously had no type of resolution or mediation training, because instead of her defusing the situation, she incited the situation and actually incited a situation of violence. Because in my opinion, these police officers acted brutally towards the student. She was humiliated and dehumanized in front of her fellow peers. And in the name of what? Justice. I mean, she was treated as though she was a hardened criminal who had killed 75 people. Is this justice? So I say, shame on you, University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, for handling this situation in such a careless, tactless, and tasteless way. Shame on you to the police officers who responded to this call and who felt like they couldn't give this student the dignity that she deserved by escorting her out and explaining to her that she had to go out of this classroom, but trying to resolve this matter and not ending in force, in brutal force. Shame on you again for when the girl asked for medical attention, you asked her for what? As if she needs a reason with your knee in her neck. And shame on you, America, for in 2010 still feeling like you can treat brown and black people as subhuman individuals. For feeling like you can still dehumanize us whenever you want to. For feeling like you can perpetuate the stereotypes that only degrade and further bring down a suffering community. Shame on you. And also I say, shame on the black people that are sitting out here who have soapboxes, who have platforms to stand on and speak out against these type of injustices, who are doing nothing. Where are the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons? Is this not lucrative enough for you that one of our own can go treated so unfairly and so unjust that a public outcry is not called upon? Shame on all of us who sit back in our comfort zones and are so benign and watered down to the situations around us in the black community that we allow them to continue. Maybe we think we've came so far because we have a half-black president who, if you want to be technical about it, we can call him not African American, but African, half African in the White House. But I'll have you know, as I go day in and day out in the trenches of this great old US of A, I know that racism still exists. In 2009, I was called colored while attempting my own studies at school. So I am privileged and humbled by knowing that this is still a real problem in our community. And if we don't do something about it, who will? So I say to all the free minds out there watching this, stand up for what is right. Stand up for your constitutional right to be heard, to be accounted for, to be an accepted citizen of this society. It can't be a double standard. You can't ask us to be productive members of this society, but treated as second class. Shame on you for thinking that's okay. And shame on us for allowing this to happen. That was somebody's child. And I am tired of little brown girls and little brown boys across this great old country being demoralized and being desensitized to what is wrong. Because this is wrong. This is unjust that today we still treat people just based on the color of their skin this unfair. Because had she been blonde hair and blue-eyed, I definitely doubt she would have been thrown to the ground, knee to her neck, and treated like a criminal for disorderly conduct. I totally have a strong inclination that that wouldn't have happened. So to all my free minds out there, this is my call to you. What are you going to do about it? See, because if we don't do something now, then we only have ourselves to blame. When the hands on the clock are reverted and history repeats itself, and maybe we're not in the physical cotton fields, but we're back being hung and lynched from trees because we don't stand up. And divided, we are falling apart. So I ask that the black community stand up for what is right, and we come together and we fight for our own. In the smallest of incidences and in the larger ones, because they all should go addressed. Too many of them are being unnoticed, unaddressed, and unaccounted for. Our people count too. Our citizens, our fellow countrymen deserve to have their voices heard. And if you're a free mind, I ask that you stand with me in solidarity for standing against this and refuting any type of justification for this unnecessary use of force and abuse of power on the teacher's part by calling in not campus police to handle a campus matter, but public police officers using our tax dollars to do nothing but tear down another young black person trying to better themselves. Stay a free mind and stay a part of the solution.